Hey, boys and girls, how are y'all doing today? So, today we're going to continue our reading that we've been working on. And what we're going to work on today is our essential question is why are goals important? And yesterday we learned about a lady who was very important into space exploration, and her math and her science background helped her to really help herself while she was in space, but also others who are space travelers. So today we're going to learn about somebody new, and we're going to keep in mind why our goals are important to us. Okay, so I want you to remember your goals and think about yours as we talk about this man and some of his wonderful things he's gotten to do with his goals. Okay, it's called Rocketing into Space. When James A. Lovell Jr. was a boy, he loved to build rockets and launch them into the sky, but his dreams went a lot farther than his rockets. Like many boys who grew up in the 1930s, Lovell dreamed of being a pilot, and as he watched his rocket soar, he knew someday he would too. High-flying dreams. Lovell was born in Cleveland, Ohio in 1928. He worked hard in school and planned to go to a special college to study astronomy and rockets. And astronomy is one of those words we talked about a long time ago. It's where you're studying the stars or space and that kind of a study. Unfortunately, he didn't have enough money to attend. Lovell had to figure out another way to reach his goal. So he wanted to go to a special college and he just couldn't afford it. He didn't have the money, but he didn't let that defeat him. Lovell was motivated to find a way to fly rockets. So he went to college near his home for 2 years and then signed up for a flight training at the United States Naval Academy. After 4 years at the academy, Lovell joined the United States Navy and became a professional naval test pilot. His job was to fly planes before anyone else was allowed to fly them. Isn't that awesome? And then that little caption says, James A. Lovell Jr. became an astronaut in 1962, and he flew 4 space missions. Pilot to astronaut. As a pilot, Lovell spent more than half of his flying time in jets. He taught other pilots how to fly. He also worked as a specialist in air flight safety. Soon, the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, or NASA, put out a call for astronauts. Lovell applied for the job because he had all the essential skills needed to fly into space, those most important skills. As a result, NASA chose him. By 1962, James Lovell was an astronaut. He had finally reached his goal. Big challenges. Lovell flew on 3 space missions, and then in April 1970, he became commander of the Apollo 13 mission. This was a big responsibility and a great honor. This was also one of the biggest challenges of Lovell's life. Apollo 13 was supposed to land on the moon. 2 days after leaving Earth, however, the spacecraft had a serious problem. One of its oxygen tanks exploded. The crew didn't have enough power or air to breathe. They couldn't make it to the moon. Lovell communicated with the experts at NASA. No one knew what to do at first. Then the team on the ground did some research and came up with a solution. The astronauts followed the team's directions and built an invention using plastic bags, cardboard, and tape. And it worked. It cleaned the air in the spacecraft. But the next problem was even bigger. How were the astronauts going to get back to Earth? So think about the problem that they're facing right now. They're in space, supposed to be landing on the moon, and they encountered this really serious problem with their oxygen tanks exploding, okay? They didn't have enough power or enough air to even breathe. And they come up with a concoction. They come up with this invention with plastic bags, cardboard, and tape to filter out the air so that they can breathe it. But now they still have to figure out one of the problems was they don't have power to get back to Earth. So let's see if they can come up with a solution to that. The NASA team, a job well done. The NASA team decided the astronauts would use the lunar or moon module as a lifeboat. James and the other two astronauts climbed into the smaller spacecraft and shut the hatch tight. They moved away from the main spaceship. With little power, water, food, or heat, the astronauts listened carefully to the team at NASA. The trip back to Earth was dangerous and scary. For almost 4 days, the astronauts traveled in a cramped capsule. And cramped would mean like they probably didn't have a whole lot of room to spread out, or they were probably all squished together. They were cold, thirsty, and hungry. Then, with millions of people watching on television, the module fell to Earth. Years later, James Lovell said that Apollo 13 taught him how important it was for people to work together. His favorite memory was when the capsule splashed down in the Pacific Ocean and the diver knocked on the window to let them know they were safe. A dream come true. Did you ever dream of going into space? Check out Space Camp. Space camps have been around for more than 30 years. They make science, math, and technology exciting so kids will want to learn more. And like the NASA training programs, these camps teach the importance of teamwork and leadership. And then let's look at these captions right here. This one, this little picture, the black and white photo down here, let's read that caption first. NASA's team works to solve Apollo 13's problem. I love this picture. If you look, you can see the concern and the worry on their faces. If you look really closely, you can tell they're just really you can tell it took a team to try to figure out how they could get this group home safely. Okay, and then if you look at this little, it almost looks like a spaceship over here. It says the Apollo 13 crew splashed down safely on April 17th, 1970. And those little, the orange and then the balloons at the top, those were the safety measures that were in place to help them to land safely and to hopefully make the impact not as great. Okay, so this is the ending of our reading, and I'm going to have some questions for you on Google Classroom for you to answer about this story. I love this story, and I think you can learn a lot from this man and from all that he did. And I'm going to ask you some questions I want you to answer, and then just turn that in. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. I miss you all so much. I love you. Bye-bye.